The labor force report for March and first quarter of 2021 describes the labor supply situation. The report will elaborate on the month-on-month and quarter-on-quarter changes to examine the immediate effects of the MCO to contain the spread of COVID-19. In addition, annual changes from the same month and the same quarter of the previous year is also reported. In March 2021, the number of employed persons continued to post a positive growth by 0.4% to record 15.33 million persons as compared to the previous month. The employment to population ratio, which indicates the ability of an economy to create employment, rose by 0.2% to record 65.4%. As for the first quarter of 2021, the number of employed persons increased by 0.5% to record 15.24 million persons as compared to 15.16 million persons in the previous quarter. The employment to population ratio rose by 0.1% to record 65.3%. In the first quarter, the working population was dominated by male with a share of 61.1%. Meanwhile, more than 30% of the employed persons were in the age group of 25 to 34 years. As for the employed persons by occupation registered in the first quarter, 23.7% was services and sales workers. Nevertheless, more than half of the employed persons were in the semi-skilled category. In the first quarter of 2021, there were 441.9 thousand persons who worked less than 30 hours per week due to working conditions or insufficient work. Time-related underemployment, which accounted for 2% of the total employed persons, decreased to 310.5 thousand persons as compared to 369.1 thousand persons in the previous quarter. As for skill-related underemployment, the rate increased to 37.5% in the first quarter of 2021. The number of skill-related underemployment was 2.09 million persons during the quarter. During the month, the number of unemployed persons lessened by 24.4 thousand persons to record 753.2 thousand persons. The unemployment rate showed an improvement with a decrease of 0.1 percentage point to record 4.7% as against February 2021. Meanwhile, in the first quarter, the number of unemployed persons increased quarter-on-quarter by 1.5% to record 771.8 thousand persons. The unemployment rate in this quarter stood at 4.8%. In the first quarter, more than 80% of unemployed persons were actively unemployed. The largest composition was persons who were unemployed for less than 3 months, which contributed 49.4%. In March, the number went up by 0.2% or 34.3 thousand persons to 16.08 million persons. The labor force participation rate changed a little by 0.1 percentage point to post 68.6% in March 2021. As for the first quarter, the number of labor force increased by 86,000 persons quarter on quarter to record 16.01 million persons. Labor force participation rate during the quarter increased marginally by 0.1 percentage point to 68.6%. March 2021 observed the number of outside labor force reduced by 7.6 thousand persons to 7.36 million persons. Likewise, outside labor force situation in first quarter also experienced a decrease of 2.4 thousand persons to record 7.32 million persons. Among the main reasons for not seeking jobs during March was due to schooling or training, which comprised of 44.9%. This was followed by housework or family responsibility with a share of 40.2%. Similar situation was also observed in the first quarter, with the largest composition of outside labor force was due to schooling or training and followed by housework or family responsibility. The labor force report for the first quarter of 2021 has been enhanced, whereby for the first time, DOSM has released the labor force statistic by state on quarterly basis to provide more insight of the labor supply situation for each state. During the first quarter of 2021, it was observed that 6 states recorded lower unemployment rate as compared to the previous quarter, ranging from 0.1 to 0.5 percentage points, namely Perak, with the unemployment rate of 4.6%, Negeri Sembilan 3.7%, Terengganu 3.7%, Melaka 3.6%, Kedah 3.6%, and Pulau Pinang 3.5%. The rising number of daily COVID-19 cases in Malaysia had prompted the implementation of MCO and restricted MCO in certain states and targeted areas such as Kelantan, Sabah, and Selangor in May 2021. This signals that the labor force may face some challenge in the forthcoming months. However, with the encouraging labor market improvement observed in the first quarter of 2021, it is hoped that the labor market will continue its recovery momentum, albeit at a moderate pace.